In a small, forgotten village, surrounded by fields and dirt roads, lived a boy whose world seemed limited to the horizon. His house was made of wood and clay, his shoes often torn, and his family barely had enough food on the table. Yet, even in this world of poverty, his heart was restless. Each night, while others slept, he would climb the hill behind his house and look at the sky. To him, the stars weren't just distant lights. They were silent promises, whispering that something greater existed beyond his village. People around him never spoke about space. They spoke about farming, about surviving, about enduring harsh winters. But the boy's mind wandered far beyond those conversations. He imagined flying among the stars, touching the moon, and seeing the earth from above. It was an impossible dream for a child with no money, no support, and no examples to follow. Still, he felt that the stars belonged to everyone, even to a poor boy from nowhere. From an early age, the boy's fascination with the universe grew into determination. He collected old newspapers, broken radios, and scraps of metal, trying to understand how machines worked. With no real laboratory, his workshop was a small corner of his house. He built tiny rockets from tin cans, lighting them in the night, watching them fly a few meters before falling. Each failure brought laughter from the neighbors. "A villager can't become an astronaut," they mocked. But every cruel word was like fuel to his fire. Books became his escape. He walked miles to borrow them from a nearby town. When electricity went out, he studied under a candle until dawn. While others dreamed of wealth or comfort, he dreamed of science, of space, of endless possibilities. His family worried, why not focus on farming, or find a steady job? But the boy answered only with silence, because deep inside, he knew, his destiny was far above the fields and farms. Dreams are never easy, and his journey was filled with obstacles. He failed school exams more than once. He tried to enter programs and was rejected. His rockets often exploded before reaching the sky. At times, hunger and exhaustion nearly broke him. There were nights when tears soaked his books, when his heart whispered, maybe they're right. Maybe it's impossible. But every morning, he started again. He reminded himself that failure was not the end, it was part of the path. He studied harder, pushed his body beyond limits, and trained his mind to never surrender. He believed that even the tallest mountain could be climbed one step at a time. His persistence became his greatest strength, stronger than money, stronger than the doubts of others. The boy who once watched the stars now prepared himself to reach them, no matter how long it took. Years passed, and his efforts finally attracted attention. A group of scientists noticed his unusual brilliance. They were amazed at how someone from such humble beginnings had learned so much on his own. Against all expectations, he was invited to join an astronaut training program. This was the turning point. The village boy, once mocked, now stood in front of the nation's brightest minds. Training was brutal, physical exercises pushed his body to collapse, psychological tests challenged his focus, and endless simulations tested his skills. Many gave up, but he refused. Every drop of sweat reminded him of the candlelit nights in his village. Every challenge reminded him of why he started. He wasn't just training for himself, he was training for every child who had ever been told, "You can't." The day came at last. The rocket towered above him, a monument of steel and fire. As he suited up, he thought of his mother's worried face, his father's tired hands, the neighbors who once laughed, and the boy he once was, staring at the stars from the hill behind his home. The countdown began. His heart pounded with every number. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flames erupted, the earth trembled, and the rocket lifted into the sky. His body was crushed by the force, yet his spirit soared higher than ever before. Through the window, clouds rushed by, then the deep black of space appeared. Tears filled his eyes, not from fear, but from the realization that the impossible had become real. In silence, weightlessness embraced him. The earth floated below, blue oceans, green lands, white clouds spinning slowly. It was the most beautiful sight he had ever seen. In that moment, he whispered, "Dreams are stronger than destiny." The boy from the poor village had become the first astronaut of his country. His journey was no longer just his own. It was a message to the world: it doesn't matter where you are born, how poor you are, or how many times you fail. What matters is how fiercely you believe and how tirelessly you fight. He proved that stars are not reserved for the privileged. They belong to anyone brave enough to reach for them. And so, the poor boy from nowhere touched the universe, leaving behind a story that would inspire generations to dream, to fight, and to rise, no matter the odds.